Hey everybody, welcome to the next 1v1. We've got aSIILollypop versus Cataclaw on Minsk Pocket. I can say Minsk Pocket better than I can say that other bloody map. Anyway, let's get into this, shall we? Right, in the top corner we have, in the blue, we have aSIILollypop. I'm just going to call you Lollipop because I can't really pronounce what the aSII mean. AS2, whatever. In the bottom we have the Russians, who are being played by Cataclaw. Just call you Cataclaw because that would be bloody easier. Anyway, first things first, we've got pioneers coming into play for the Germans, who are going to build their first building. The Russians are going to build their special rifle command building first, which is a different strategy than I've seen before. It's interesting. The pioneer squad is going to move out, as this pioneer squad here is taking the fuel depot. For this to be linked up with the main area of the Germans, they will need to obviously capture one of these 2 points here. The engineers for the Russians coming out now. They're going to move and take their first point. The Germans have their first point, but it's useless at this moment in time, as grenadiers come out for the Germans. This seems like a bigger map than the Colony one. We have some weird play going on here. We've got some razor wire fences going up, cutting off a route, which is, I don't know if that's going to work just yet. We'll see. Pioneers get their point, which links up with their fuel depot point. Grenadiers are going to move out. We have a sniper in play. Okay, interesting. Sniper in play. The second point for the Russians is captured, and they will move to the first star for the Russians. The Germans are slowly moving out to take their next set of points. Another grenadier squad comes into play as the snipers head for the fuel depot here. Engineers are moving now or the pioneers for the Germans are going to move towards this left star, and the pioneers are done with the nice little barbed wire fence. Very nice indeed. They're going to head towards, looks like they're going to head towards the star, as is the grenadiers. The sniper is taking this point very slowly, but it's in a decent position, so it can actually oversee some of this area, I'd imagine. I can't actually see this yet. The sniper is taking the position. Their view range is now, they can now see the pioneer squad. Pioneers take hits. Second hit goes down. If they stay there any longer, they're going to get another hit, and luckily they retreat. We have a scout car in play. I understand why now the Russians have brung that first building out, because they literally want to spam these scout cars. Very interesting, very well played there. Cons engaging some of the infantry, not doing a very good job. Very interesting combo, that. Snipers and scout car. Very, very, very interesting. Cons engaging the grenadiers here. The grenadiers are going to have a bad time there, I think. Because a Molotov cocktail goes down right in their face. They are pretty much effed. One of the grenadiers goes down. The last two are going to run away, as the Russians, although they are losing at the moment in terms of points, they are in a better position as far as I'm concerned. I think they're in a seriously better position, because this strategy with the scout car and a sniper unit in the scout car is amazing against infantry, because every time the snipers shoot, they at least take one infantry out. Amazing. They may lose the scout car though after the grenadiers engage them quite heavily here. Yeah, and I think the snipers are going to get out and they're going to retreat. The scout car looks like it is over for their scout car. The Russians are pushing into this flame depot area here. They are really choking the Germans for space here as the Germans take this ammunition sector. They're going to move down to this point, I'd imagine. Very, very interesting. Another scout car comes into play for the Russians, and that's going to be difficult for the Germans to really counter here. The engineer squad is going to try and take this middle point while this scout car engaged the Grenadiers, and the Grenadiers have got nothing for it. They're going to run away. The Pioneers, I thought, would take this point. They don't. I think they're going to probably move for this point here. The cons are engaged here by the Grenadier squad and a Pioneer squad. The scout car is probably going to come in to help out. That scout car is going to sit home at base and probably wait for any kind of repair to come in. Scout car comes in for the German side, and they're going to have a little fight. Oh, excellent. They've upgraded to the 20mm gun, and they're going to push far into the Russian territory. But, unfortunately, for the Russians, they've lost their first scout car. But the scout car itself for the German side has taken half of its damage, so it's got to be very careful here as the Germans take this second point. Very well done there from the Germans. Very good counter attack there. Neutralising this middle point stops any kind of points deficit, which is always very useful. And they're going to move out now. Scouts engaging this con squad. Con squad is going to move forward though. Not too sure about that. Two Grenadier squads though are going to basically hold this for the Germans. Pioneers are going to get engaged in a second by two sets of snipers. I don't think I've ever seen two sets of snipers for the Russians out at any time. Very well played there. The Russian Cataclaw has got some interesting strategies going on at the moment. Very, very interesting indeed to watch. A little bit of a stalemate at the moment as a half track comes out for the Germans as this scout car is repaired for the Russians. This middle point is going down for the Russians, and the cons are going to try and engage three sets of Grenadiers now. About equal footing, I'd say, in terms of numbers. In terms of how good the infantry are, unfortunately the Grenadiers will always be victorious against any kind of Russian infantry because they are just far better trained. The cons are going to move head along into some serious fire there as the snipers do some damage against a Pioneer squad. Pioneer squad is going to run away. These snipers could be very influential when it comes to engaging these infantry, but the scout car is going to take at least some damage from these snipers. The sniper is going to run away. Very wise decision. As another scout car comes in, it has a rifle, a guard rifle unit inside, which means that this might have some problems. Yes. The utilisation of the Russian scout car by the Cataclaw has been fantastic. Seriously fantastic. I mean, I'm amazed at how good that's turned out for the Russians. You've got an automatic weapon on the front and the back of the gun, and you've got anti-tank, light vehicle damaging weapons in there. Fantastic move. Doesn't help the situation that they're still losing, unfortunately, but I think they've got more territory in general, as the two sniper units and the con squad are moving into the centre now. They're going to do some serious damage. Half track with the flame is going to start to engage these units, and it could be quite dangerous for the snipers here, unless this... Oh, brilliant. Brilliant from Cataclaw. They lose the engine, but brilliant. I can't overstate how brilliant that is from Cataclaw. The con squad is engaging now 3 sets of grenadiers. The grenadiers are in decent position, but they've just got too much to deal with here. They're going to have to fall back surely. The con squad on the left is going to get taken out by the flame, but the 3 squads, unless they get reinforced very soon, which it looks like they're going to be brought up with field gun here, or anti-tank gun. It looks like they're holding their own, which is always useful. Oh, brilliant, brilliant from the German side there to take out that scout car. The rifle, the guard rifle, got out in time, but really great. Some seriously good action going on in this game. The engagement from the guard's rifle is getting really nowhere at the moment, but the sniper units at the back are doing some serious damage. The field gun just completely dissipates. This half-track needs to move into a position where it can start to engage some of these infantry, because they're just getting mown down by the snipers. And here we go. Yes, this is what I wanted to see. Oh no. The vehicle gets buttoned, which means that they can't fire their weapon. That is amazing. But they're still pushed back. I'm flabbergasted at how good the Russians have been, as the sniper squads just get absolutely murdered there. Wow, okay. Oh. The anti-tank, the flame half-track takes a bit of damage there, but the Germans have pushed up really nicely here, taking some grounds. The Panzer Grenadiers have come into play, which means that hopefully they may get upgraded with Panzerschrecks, will give them extra anti-tank kind of routes to take. The infantry are strewn along this battlefield. Very enjoyable so far, this game. I don't know what the Russians are going to do next. The Russians have kind of faltered at the moment. They're sending 2 con squads to the left hand side here, as they're sending the snipers further and further into the territory here. The Germans fall back though, surprisingly, but the Russians can at least take out a couple of shots here, do a little bit of damage. The Germans are pushing out to the right hand side. They're also going to spread out a little bit on the left there. They are going to see if they can defend this point, but they're going to take some damage, because these snipers cannot be countered at the moment unless this half-track decides to move up, which looks like they're not going to do. 2 con squads on the left are doing nothing. They're going to slowly move out. They're going to split up. One's going to go down here, and one's going to move towards the ammo point. Guards' rifles are in a position where they can stop any kind of push. Germans are slowly moving north towards their ammunition points, and they're going to cut out a couple of things. Very interesting indeed. These grenadiers don't look like they can be seen at the moment from this sniper squad. Quite strange. How can they not be seen? There we go. Nice little ambush there from the sniper squad, but it's not going to do any damage really to... well, the Panzer Grenadiers got hurt, but in general they've kind of locked down this middle position, I think, now, unless they can bring in some heavy guns. Oh, here we go. Su-85 heavy gun that I thought might be here, and there we go. That bunker's not going to last very long. The infantry's been pushed back from this left-hand side, and they're going to do even more pushing here. The con squad is going to move up though and see if they can cut off some of the German stuff. Yeah, that Su-85 could be the turning point in this battle, to be honest, because the moment the Germans have got nothing to counter it, absolutely nothing to counter that Su-85. As the snipers move further and further into enemy territory. They've got to be very careful though not to go too far, because they may get cut off. The second sniper squad's coming back into play as this point goes down. A little bit of a fight here between grenadiers and some engineers. Those engineers are not going to have a very good time about it. And they're going to lose, unfortunately. Su-85 literally destroys that half track in 2 shots. Very well played there. The half track did get an incendiary device off though, so did do a little bit of damage, but these 2 sniper squads have so far been really useful. 17 infantry killed by this one group and 9 from the other group. Very well played there from the Russian sniper squads. But they are moving too far out. They are in danger of being flanked here. Quite seriously, they've got to be very careful. They don't want to lose these sniper squads because they want to be efficient with both. Cons are moving in to try and take back this star that has been taken by the Russian engineer squad. They are neutralizing 2 of the stars, so it may mean that their points will stop falling and the Germans will start falling, which is what they want. Germans are taking back some of the areas that they've lost, which is always going to be useful. But the Su-85 is probably the divider at the moment, as are these 2 sniper squads, doing some serious damage against infantry. Yeah, very, very useful units these are when they are utilised correctly, which is something that I can't seem to do with sniper squads. I always use them in the sense to defend an area with MGs and mortars to give them better range, not actually use them for killing stuff, which is probably silly. These grenadiers are going to be engaged by these con squad. This con squad, all it needs to do is drop a little Molotov over the top of there and you may have yourself a nice little set of kills. But instead they are just going to push the infantry back. Snipers engage and so do the rifles, the guard rifles, but the snipers are doing some serious damage here. Serious damage. If that sniper unit can get to 3, then 3 veterancy, it becomes quite a very difficult unit to play against. Half track comes in against the con squad. The con squad is going to retreat. There's no way that con squad can win in that situation. The Su-85 has been very still at the moment, doing very little. Quite a difficult thing to use when there's nothing to really fight against except this mortar. This mortar needs to be taken out quite soon, otherwise the infantry is going to start to take some damage. As the Germans now are really pushing in the centre now, they're going to start to move, see what they can do. They're going to hold, looks like they're going to hold this kind of ground here against any kind of push. The con squad is taking some hits. They take out, they get the PTRS rifle, which is a big bonus for them, but they're going to have to retreat out, unfortunately. The sniper squads are well, they're both down to 1 man each, which is quite a precarious position because if either of them get shot, then it's over for them. As the Russians decide to try and take this point from the Germans. Quite a strange... Ooh, that mortar nearly hit that sniper squad there as the Su-85 slowly comes back into play. I don't know why it's taken so long for them to come back into play, but here they are. What have the Germans got to counter this Su-85? Not very much, because now they've got 2 Su-85s, which is quite a terrible position to find yourself in, because at the moment the Germans have nothing. They have nothing to counter this. Nothing at all. So the Russians can literally just hold these 2 stars and pretty much win this if they just keep doing what they're doing. The Su-85, one of them has taken out, their engine's been damaged unfortunately, but that doesn't mean very much at the moment, as the guard rifle grenade infantry try and take out these half tracks as they lose one of their infantry. The Su-85 has moved forward to engage and has nearly destroyed the vehicle. Nearly destroyed. It needs another hit. It's not going to get it. and oh, 2 hits on the Su-85, take it down to almost half health, as the Germans are slowly pushing forward here. They're trying to push forward, as are the Russians. They're really focusing on this middle section rather than flanking out to the left and the right. Quite strange. The reinforcements are not coming in just yet for the Germans, but they've got quite a lot of infantry over here. They've got mortar, a half track, and they've got a field gun, which is doing quite a decent job of being defended. This area is, wow, I went all Yodu there. The Russians are going to counter and flank on this right hand side. Very well played here, because they're just going to literally come right behind the enemy, nearly take out the half track. Nearly take out the half track. I do say nearly because they haven't done it just yet, but they are going to have to retreat because they've just been hit with overwhelming odds there. Sorry, I went all posh for a sec. Overwhelming odds. 2 snipers coming back into play. They are at almost full health. They've got 38 kills between them. 38 infantry kills between them. Four soldiers have got 38 infantry kills. Very well played. Very well played indeed. A lot of these infantry squads haven't got very much though. I mean, this one grenadier squad's got 12 kills. This one's got 9. This Flebenworth half track's doing quite well. It's still not got enough kills to be really efficient, but it's doing a very decent job there. Very decent indeed. 2 snipers have split off here. One's gone left, one's gone right. And they're going to engage this infantry in the centre and not do a very good job of... well, the Grenadiers are not going to do a very good job of moving forward. Grenadiers are going to take this 3rd star that's been taken for the Russians. They're going to neutralise it and start, hopefully, a push back to some kind of victory, because at the moment the Germans are suffering really quite badly at the hands of snipers and at the hand of these Su-85s. They're becoming very difficult units to take out. These snipers are very decently placed here because they can spot pretty much everything. But the half track's being engaging the infantry that's moving in on their position. And they need to move out fully rather than half-heartedly, which is what they're doing at the moment. The Germans look like they're moving left, see if they can take out some of these points behind, as a BM-13 Katyushka rocket tank has come in, and they're going to pummel the crap out of those infantry. They are doing some good damage there, very good damage. Field gun's nearly completely taken out. It's only just come into play. How unfortunate for the Germans. Flame tanks, flame half track here is doing some really good jobs against the cons, as the Panzer Grenadiers are taking some quite heavy hits as the Russian plane comes in to do some damage against this kind of area. 2 sniper squads are in a decent position here to overlook, as the half track gets engaged by the Su-85. Takes 1 hit, but the second shot misses. But the Su-85 is going to push forward here, and this could be it for the German side. They could be suffering really badly here. They have still got the field gun in place though, which means that it could be quite a... if the Russians do want to push forward and try to defeat this German side straight away, they're going to have to do some damage to that field gun. There's another set of rockets fire off where they're going. They're going to the middle there. That half track is taking some hits. Both half tracks are taking some hits. The only problem with the rocket artillery is they're not very accurate, unfortunately, for the Russians. They are very more of a let's bombard an entire area rather than a single specific point. As the Su-85 engages Grenadier squad, which is completely taken out. That's a very good little push to have, as the cons are taking this left point, which cut the Russians slightly territory, but they're going to push it back, and this looks quite dire now for the Germans. The Germans have got infantry on their side, they've got a lot of infantry, and they've also got now the heavy Panzer Corps coming into play, but they haven't got enough resources at the moment. They need to get up to something like 440 it is manpower to get this Panther out, but by then they could have lost another 20 or 30 points. I mean, before it even comes out onto the field, it's going to take another minute or so. So, I mean, they're losing 2 points every 5 seconds. So, do the math. Yeah. It's like 30 points or something. That was off the top of my head. I'm not really thinking about that. So anyway, another engagement here. The sniper squad could find itself in trouble. It does, and it retreats out. The two Su-85s are doing some decent jobs as the rocket artillery goes down to a position where there's no infantry anymore. The Su-85, the sniper squad's been destroyed. They've finally got rid of one of the sniper squads, but you could say, though, if you looked at the efficiency of those sniper squads, that they've been absolutely outstanding. This Su-85 could go down here if they're not careful. But the German Panzer Grenadiers decide to retreat. Oh, unfortunate for them, because that Su-85 going down, that would have been fantastic. Panther is halfway done. It will be coming out in the next probably 25-30 seconds or so. But unfortunately for them, they have lost their third star as the fight goes on here. And that half-track is going to be destroyed. Finally, the flame half-track is destroyed. And the Su-85s have come out on top at the moment. This sniper unit has seen a lot of action and is still into play, but the Germans can't seem to get anywhere at all as the Panther finally comes out. But there is a third Su-85 come out onto the field. There is no way that Panther can do any serious kind of damage against these three Su-85s, because literally, as soon as the Panther gets into any kind of range of these two vehicles, 3 vehicles now, that they just literally get pummeled. And the Panther is technically a medium tank, so its armor's not going to be fantastic. It's going to take 2 or 3 hits, and it's going to lose, unfortunately. The Russians are being rampant now. They are taking points left, right and centre. The Germans are being pegged back further and further into their base, and there's very little that the Germans can do about it, because the Russians are being played very, very well by Cataclaw. Fantastically well played. So we've got 3 Su-85s, we've got the rocket artillery, which I think is probably going to start being flown right into the area right now, because it would be wise to do so. The Panther on the field for the Germans is sitting in a position where it's not actually doing any serious work here. It's literally sitting in a position where I suppose it's protecting the flank, but it's not doing any, it's not got any worth to it as the sniper team retreats out. No, it doesn't retreat out. And the second sniper team has been brought back in. The Russian player, Cataclaw, has decided that the snipers are worth putting the resources into it. And I have to agree with him, because at the moment, the Germans have literally got infantry. That's what they're playing with, infantry. The sniper team on the left's had to retreat out, but they've still got the sniper team on the right, as the Su-85 is doing some serious damage against that infantry. The Panther is still not doing anything. It's finally moving out. What are you going to be doing there, son? Because at the moment, a lot of resources have been spent on you, and you've done very, very little. If you're not careful, this game is going to be a loss. And it looks like it is. Unfortunately for the Germans, they've got nothing to counter anything. And I don't know what this is, but I think it's another Su-85. No, it's not. It's an Su-76. An Su-76 has got a very nice little utility where it can, or ability that allows you to basically turn it into an artillery unit. And the Panther usage by Lollipop here is I understand he can't really use it without destroying it, which is unfortunate, but with it sitting there doing very little, it's pointless actually having that unit if you're not going to use it, even to waste it by just destroying maybe one of the SU-85s, because there's 3 SU-85s on the field, and unless you know try and destroy them, there's no point trying to play this game, is it, really? Cons are taking this ammunition point, as are trying to take this fuel depot. This is quite a contested region, but I honestly can't see how the Germans are going to win from this position, because they have got literally 2 sets of infantry plus a Panzer Grenadier and a Pioneer squad, half track with a mortar on it, and a Panther that is not doing anything. This Panther is sitting here doing nothing, and I can't understand why. I'm not too sure why the SU-85s is pointing in that direction either, but maybe I'm just being retarded and this is all going to work out fantastically well for the Germans. But I'm sorry, but if you're going to literally build your Panther tank and then not actually use it, then it's a complete waste of funds. Completely waste. There's no other way to describe the use of that Panther as being... It has no use. I mean, it's gone from over here to being over there now. I mean, what's the deal with that? I can understand the need for not wanting it to be destroyed, but I mean, if you've bought it, you might as well try and use it, you know. Unless he's bought it for collectors, he wants to keep it and you know, put it on eBay in a few years. But I mean, he's not going to have it for very much longer, because the Germans are being completely outplayed here by the Russians. By Cataclaw's done a fantastic job. The Germans are trying to defend this point in the left, but I think the Russians will just be happy with letting them take the point. They can have it. What we'll do is we'll sit quite far away from you and we'll snipe you to death. How'd you like them apples? So a second Panther comes into play. Please use these Panthers more. If you don't use these Panthers in the next 2 minutes, I think you've lost. I think, to be honest, I think you've lost anyway, but I mean, it's quite silly, the non-usage of these Panthers. The only thing I can think that he's trying to do is he's trying to build up a little bit of a force, and he's going to try and push around the sides. What I'd do is I'd push down the right side and get this star from behind them. Definitely not go through the middle, because that would be suicide. Anyway, a little engagement here between Cons and Panzer Grenadiers. Not doing a very good job there, the Panzer Grenadiers. But the half-track is doing some serious damage here. It's got 12 decent kills here. You can use some footage. The Panthers finally come into play. Finally come into play. I'm not going to lie, they've been fantastic. Literally taking that SU-85 has been fantastic. I'm hesitant to think that he actually planned to do this with the Panthers. I'm pretty sure he probably did, but he's waited too long. And the usage of these Panthers has been horrible to begin with. 2 SU-76s and 2 85s, SU-85s, are going to engage this force of Panthers, and hopefully there may be a nice little tank battle here. It would be quite enjoyable to see this tank battle at the end, because there's not been that many of them at the moment. But the Panthers are going to fall back, and they've literally just engaged a couple of units, taken out an SU-85, and then gone back to being in inactive mode, which seems a bit silly. Not much going on at the moment. The Cons are going to try and defend against this Panzer Grenadier push. They're not going to win. Panzer Grenadier is going to finally take out, or try and take this place back again. Panthers are going to overlook this area, but they're not going to be able to see anything. The 85s are in position here to try and take out anything that pushes the middle. The Panthers are in a position where they can stop any kind of flank on the left hand side, which is what's going to happen here from the con squad. They're going to try and engage these Panthers, take as much damage out of them as possible, but the Panthers need to move out here. They need to move out and they need to start engaging these tanks in the middle. Otherwise this game is over. So one of the Panthers is engaged by 2 of the 85s. It's taken 2 hits and nearly lost half of its health. The cons and the guard rifle are going to try and come in here and do a little bit of damage. That's not going to work though. A third Su-85 comes into play, as does 2 76s that were already there. I would imagine if he just put a command attack move and just sent them right into their base, because the Germans have got nothing to counter these tanks with. I mean, these Panthers, yes, they'll do some damage, but against tank destroyers, and especially with that one facing the wrong way, there's no chance for these tanks to win. And I think the Russian Cataclaw realises that now, and he's going to push forward, and we'll see how it goes here. So, one of the Panthers has been damaged quite heavily here. Both of the Panthers have been quite heavily damaged here. One of the Su-85s is going to go down, but both the Panthers are in risk here of being destroyed. But the usage of this Su-85 here has been quite poor. He's reversing and doing all kinds of weird shit, and he gets taken out for it. Very strange indeed. This last Panther is probably going to go down here though, because this Su-85 has been in a decent position all this time. I have to say, if I'm in all honesty, the Panthers won that battle. Honestly. Because although the Panthers both took really heavy damage, the 2 Su-85s were taken out for 1 Panther, which I think is quite a good trade, if I'm honest. I may be mistaken. If you want to clarify or make up your minds about how, if that was indeed a good move, then let me know in the comments. So the 76s come into play. They're going to bombard this area, as does the rocket artillery. It is over for the Germans. I think the Germans finally realise that. They may fight to the end. They may do what they normally do when there's no chance of winning, and that's surrender. And here we go, probably the final push of the day. The Grenadiers are going to try and take this point back, but I don't think that's going to happen. The Panther is going to be destroyed by the Su-85. Has to be. It's taken 2 hits to the rear. Instead, that the Su-85 takes out the half-track. Nice little victory there for the Su-85. They may lose this Su-85 though if they're not careful. They do. So what happened there is the Su-85 did manage to take out the Panther, but it did lose itself in the making. Nice, not a good trade there, I don't think, but very well played anyway. The Russians dominated this game, absolutely dominated from pretty much the first movement. The best part of the game, I think, was pretty much at the beginning when the scout car came out quite early. I mean, really early compared to when it normally should come out for the Russian side. And there was 2 phases with the scout car. One with a sniper team in it, which did a really good job to begin with against the infantry, and then the scout car decided to put a guards rifle squad in, one of these units which have the PTRS. Against any kind of light vehicles, there was absolutely no chance for any light vehicles to stand within any range of the scout cars. The final nail in the coffin was the fact that the Su-85s came out quite early, and the Germans had nothing. They could not defeat the Su-85s because the Su-85s with the sniper squads were just completely. They had no chance whatsoever. Anyway, well played by Cataclaw, unlucky for Lollipop. Any other time, Lollipop